360. If you are hearing this, watching this, then throw us a hashtag replay as well too. And I can't wait for tonight. We got a real special call for you. And if you're watching this on replay, we just finished a call that was like super emotionally impactful and crazy yesterday. Who here was on our Wellness 360 call yesterday? We had a great time. We were celebrating in our community. If you're not familiar, we are a community that helps transform people's lives from the inside out. And it was pretty intense. So today, though, we have a special follow-up. And I'm excited for you specifically because in a bit, we're going to be bringing on some real special guests that are going to talk about how to really transform your business and your life. But put a me in the comments if that sounds like something that you are interested in doing, because that's what we are here for. All right. So awesome. Awesome. So can't wait to do that. And let me know once you see Dexter and Tonya. So just give me a flag there as well too. But in the meanwhile, if we haven't met before, I'd love to introduce myself real quick. So we're not complete strangers. We have many different types of people viewing this. Some of us are already partners. Some of us, you might be customers on these things known as skinny drops online, or probably you're here watching this for the very first time. Regardless of where you're at, it's an honor to have you here. And this call specifically, I know is going to be very impactful. So we're going to talk about ways to be able to build a global virtual franchise. We're going to talk about ways to be able to, whether it's put an extra $500 in your pocket or it's even more. We found ways to leverage this, make six figures in 6 months. You'll get a chance to hear from Dexter and Dr. Tonya. What's up, guys? They're so good looking. They smile everywhere. They're so awesome. So I'll bring them up in the next 5-10 minutes or so. But I want to make sure that we can get introduced to what this concept is all about. All right. But is it okay if I introduce myself real quick? So we're not complete strangers as well, too, if we haven't met before. So nice to meet you. My name is Zheng. I've been an entrepreneur full-time in this business for the last 13 years. But I wasn't always like that. In fact, I was reflecting back. I'm 35 now. I got introduced to this crazy thing when I was 19 years old. And I don't know if any of you can relate with me or not, but my parents told me that if you want to succeed in life, here's the path. You go to school, you study hard, and you get good grades, and then you become a doctor, lawyer, engineer, some type of professional. You know, did anyone else grow up like that as well too? Give me a wave or throw one in the comments if that was like you. And I didn't know what else to do, so I just followed that blindly, right? So I followed it to the T. I would call myself a super nerd. I was really intense with the books, and I got a chance to go to UC Berkeley. So here I am at one of the best public universities in the world. I'm studying biology. I got my life all on track, and I'm like, all right, I know I'm going to be a neurosurgeon, do all that. But I started to realize that the reality of things wasn't exactly what it seemed like. I saw a lot of my friends graduating with tons of debt. I saw a lot of friends graduating, not even getting jobs related to their major. Who here knows someone working somewhere, not even related to what they were studying, right? So, and I was just like, man, is there another way? And what happened was I got introduced to an opportunity just like this. And to be honest, I was super skeptical. Maybe you were as well too. If so, I completely get it, because I was seeing a concept that just didn't make sense to me. I thought I knew what this was. And I'm like, this is not for me. But what changed my life was I met someone that would actually eventually become my mentor. I was 19. This guy was 23 years old. He was making a 6-figure income working part-time, and he was a college dropout. So here I was, and I was confronting something in front of my eyes that it couldn't make sense because my life said you need a degree to get paid real well. Here's a guy that did it completely differently. And I'm like, what is going on here? You know what attracted me to this type of business, though? It wasn't the money. It wasn't the products. It was the people. Because one thing I realized was success is attracted by the person that you become. And I just really liked these people. I'm like, man, I want to be more like them. So with that, I decided to get started in this crazy thing. And I sucked for a long time. But my mentor taught me this. He said that if you're willing, you're coachable, you're hungry, you can do this. Guys, I sucked real bad. I made all the mistakes in the book. I was so shy, I couldn't even order food at a restaurant. but I got introduced to personal development. I got introduced to systems, and I just latched onto that. And 90 days in, I did well enough to fuel me through college. By the time that I graduated a couple years later, my part-time income became my full-time income, and I have not had a job since for the last 13 years. It's taken us around the world. It's allowed us a life that we just pinch ourselves with. We work from our phone now. But I think the biggest thing that this business did for me, my call to fame, was that along the way, I recruited my top sales leader that years later would actually become my wife. So I'm telling you, if you're looking for love, I won't promise that you'll find it here, but maybe you are. So, so this has changed me inside and out. And that's why I have such a passion to help others realize that if you have a dream, if you have a vehicle, and you're willing to just follow a proven plan, you can change your life at any moment of your life, right? So I'm super excited to be able to share with you guys what's going on today, okay? So if you're not familiar, though, we're going to introduce you to this vehicle, and I'm going to have Dexter and Dr. Tonya. They're going to just you might, if you have a seatbelt, you might want to just like put it on. Get ready. All right. It's gonna rock your socks off. But for those of you that aren't familiar, we're gonna introduce you to a company called Partner Co. because you need a vehicle, right? If you want to make more money, if you want to change your life, you need something to drive it with. Why this? Well, this company is global. We're actually like a $300 million startup in 50 plus different markets right now. We have tested and proven products. I'm not going to talk too much about this. If you missed our call yesterday, talk to your friend because we just had story about story about story of people's lives transformed. And you want to find a product that people really want. So the main one that we're really seeing become viral, these things called the Slenderize system. It's also known as the skinny drops. They're a hormone balancing, body balancing system. You just take them 3 times under your day, support your thyroid, support your metabolism, help you with your mood, all different types of things, women things as well too. And the average man is losing 2/3 a pound a day. The average woman loses a half a pound a day, and it's transformational. So story after story, whether it's getting abs or it's someone like Lily going through menopause and being able to really help her with that. Mary Jo losing 81 pounds in 4 months. Like we just seen all these types of stories. If you want more information, once again, you can find these people, join our community. You'll see them as well too. But what's unique about Partner Co is they give you an opportunity to build a global virtual franchise for just $30. You can partner with the company, you can get discounts on the products, and now you are in business for yourself to actually build something. Imagine the best of affiliate marketing, online marketing, all different types of marketing together. I'll give you the tools and the systems that will help you put some money in your pocket fast. And if you do this long enough and you follow the system, we've seen some tremendous, tremendous success. All right. To the point where we have a system that's helped people scale to 6 figures in 6 months. But what I wanted to do is, I don't know about you, who here's ever been exposed to another business or you've tried another business before? Give me a wave or put a me in the comments below, right? Because the reality is this, there's a lot of cool opportunities out there. And I've always wondered to myself, what is it that makes some people succeed and others not, right? There's some people out there, maybe you're like that, right? Like I'm looking at Angie Bloom here, right here. She's one of our officers here, just crushing it. She seems to be the type of person that whatever she touches just turns to gold, I know. The reality is she's had tough times in her life as well too, right? But like there's this certain thing about people, and to be honest, I don't know about you, I never felt like I was that person. I felt like I was the follower. I felt like, you know, they were the lucky ones. I just got the bad end of the draw, you know, and like, I felt like I had to work harder than other people. Like, it just, I didn't get it. But it wasn't until I realized that success is by principle, success is by design, and it's learnable. And I learned from people like Dexter and Dr. Tonya that it changed my life. So that's why I wanted to invite them on here today, because these two, I got to tell you, are the best looking couple in the world, first of all. But they are global speakers. They are professionals. They are incredible, not just in business, but in marriage and in everything. And it's just such an honor to just have you guys on here today. But Dexter, Dr. Tonya, how are you two?
Good. We're great, man.
We
We're
are so
great.
good, and it's an honor to be here today.
Absolutely.
To be here with you.
Yeah.
We're really honored, and thank you so much for the invitation.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. The honor is ours. You two are known as the upgraders. Who here is ready to upgrade your life, by the way? Like, I want it in so many different times. We're ending a quarter, guys, and now we're getting into the next one. This is the time when I think, New Year's resolutions has worn off for most people, and they're like, all right, now we're just kind of strapped in for the ride. So I wanted to introduce you to the community because I believe you two know what it takes to really help us drive success in life and in this business. But before we even get into that aspect of things, for us that don't know you guys, like, how did you both get introduced to this type of profession, actually?
Wow, good question. So, James, first of all, thank you. You're amazing team. Everybody that's here, thank you for having us here. You and your wife, you guys are amazing. So really appreciate you and bless you guys. So Tonya actually was in the industry first. So you want to give you a little opening for that?
No, I mean, go ahead. I love this.
Okay, no, so I'm a former banker. So I'm at the bank. Tonya comes in to get a loan, and she had her income from her job, but she had a side business. And that side business was in Mary Kay. So submitted all of those documents to be approved for the loan. So, this is really just coming up now. I actually took those documents. I approved the loan, but I needed my manager's approval. I went into my manager and I said, listen, I've got this lady, she's in for a loan. It looks good. She has an additional income. He said, what is it? I said, it's direct sales. Now, this is, James, this is 1998.
Somewhere around there.
Wow.
So I look at it and he says, well, what do you think? You think it'll be good? I said, yeah, I think that income will be around. I can tell you that. So that is exactly how we met. Tonya, so she was doing Mary Kay first. So she's the one who kicked it all off.
Wow, that's amazing. Okay, so you were impressed. You're like, all right, there's some stuff going on right here. Fantastic. And I mean, the industry has taken, there's so many transitions from Mary Kay to where it is right now. I'm curious, as a business vehicle with, I mean, we have a network marketing business, which I think it's like, it's such a different definition. It's such a different way that it looks now than it was before. But we'll get into the success philosophies on what makes it work, because what made it work back in the day is going to still work today as well too. But even just the change in business from what you guys have seen, like, what would you say are some of the differences between before and now, and why are you excited even personally now about that?
Wow, some of the differences. Well, I'll say this first. I was in my late 20s, so 27, 28 years old at the time. I didn't know what I was doing. I joined, you go to the meetings, you hear some things. I can even remember one of the leaders, they were called directors, and she was going by. I can see her right now. She just had this little suave way of moving, and she was coming down and she's pointing and she was asking everyone, like, what do you want to earn? Like, what do you see for yourself? So what she's doing is tapping into the mind. She wants to appeal to that emotional side of all of us who were there to see, basically having you to come into agreement. You say it. I'm not going to say it for you. You say it. What do you want? What do you see? But the amount I gave was so low. I can tell you that I can remember when she looked at me, she was like, and kept going. But I will never forget her face, because she's like, that's not anything. But it's where I was. And that's a lot of what I had to come out of, the things that I've had to unlearn. One of my favorite quotes that my husband would speak out here is Alvin, am I saying Alvin Toffler, is that the illiterate of the 21st century aren't those who can't read and write. It won't be those who can't read and write, but those who can't learn, unlearn, and relearn. So I've gone through the process of doing a lot of unlearning, and that has helped me to actually move up and expand. Now, some of the differences, of course, then you're talking about, it was home parties. It was, me having my prospects written down, the list, coming to my home. But then the BAM fam book a meeting from a meeting. That's what we would actually do. We were really pushing. Mary Kay is really strong with sales as well. So a lot of sales and everything is what was happening, what was going on. I did do some recruiting as well, but not as much as I do now. It's a whole lot better. I've actually gone from Mary Kay into then coming into health and wellness. And this is kind of where we remain. This is about like my, I don't know, like fourth, fifth direct sales company. It's the absolute best I have ever been a part of in my life. But a big difference right now is AI. I mean, if we want to talk about it, it's the social media. It's being able to reach and talk to people. I mean, I'm now messaging people. Someone is in London that I was just talking to yesterday. I have someone else that's in Trinidad that I was speaking to yesterday, not across the street, not across town, not across our country. And that's a big difference for us. We were not reaching people like that then the way that we are now. So that's a really big difference now. And you got to learn how to do that. You got to know how to do that and to make those connections. So it's a good
to unlearn and then to relearn. And I think that's so important. That's why successful people are successful. They're willing to reinvent. That's what you two have been able to do over and over again. And it's right. It's just so much faster now. It's so much simpler now. But there's a reason why we are here. Dexter, how about for yourself? I'd love to hear your side of the story. So you're the banker. You're like, all right, let's get her approved. So how did that go from approval to you guys being together? How does this all work?
Yeah, it's an interesting story. And I say this to be funny, but I tell people, I looked at her, how much money she was making in her credit to decide, you know.
He was not. It is true. If you have not figured it out yet. Okay. Yeah. He didn't show me this side of him until after I said I do.
I'm sorry. You're stuck with me.
He was so serious. He's the banker, you know, but he's hilarious.
James, okay? It's interesting now. So we're both speakers. So we've been speaking for a very long time. Well, Tonya's right. I'm this kind of corporate, kind of in the box kind of guy until my job decided they didn't want to get rid of me. Right. And now to talk about timing. So this is why this Zoom is amazing. We got to take advantage of the time. So when I was coming out of my state job, I don't know when Facebook started, but I created an account. And back then Facebook was like, that's just one of them things. Let me get back to my job, you know, this kind of stuff.
MySpace, all of that was out.
You know, yeah, and it's interesting the mindset that goes into these things. So the way people think. So when the jobs, you know, was decided they didn't want me anymore, I'm like, what am I going to do? So the opportunity that Tonya and I took advantage of back in 2014. Yeah, 2014, timing. I got out of my comfort zone and we began to go do videos at the time on Facebook. Was no reels, none of that stuff existed. We started doing video. So we started traveling a great deal and I would just do a video. I was running on the beach or whatever. I do the video upload, 3,000 views, all this kind of stuff. Things just took off like a rocket. I mean, we just had to hold on. And in the 18-month span, we had earned 7 figures.
Wow.
Now, you're talking about that kind of money for getting out of your own way versus when I worked for corporate America, I was making like $105,000 a year.
Yeah.
So it's like $105,000 a year. 18 months, we earned 7 figures. It's like, wow, where can you do that? So we've seen the advent of social media take off and then kind of stream down, but we're also looking at the dynamic of being flexible, unlearning the things that we've been programmed to believe. So I saw that this is just right now is all of our time. It's just a matter of getting in front of the movements that are happening.
Wow. Oh my gosh. Is anyone else still I'm still trying to comprehend what Dexter just said. 7 figures in 18 months. Like, imagine everyone here in the next 18 months. That is what next year, September, you made an extra mil. Like, okay. There's certain mind states. And I know this is what there's science to this. There are principles to this. Of course, you have to work hard. Of course, you have to find the right opportunity. Of course, you have to do these things. But looking back to then and all the different types of things, that you've experienced as well too. What are some of the biggest things that you would say prevent people from taking advantage of a great opportunity? Because partly because number one in the world right now, people are coming, like people are winning, like it's just happening right now. But I want everyone to win. Like I'd love it if all of us could cross the stage as $1 million earners, you know. But what would you guys say to that?
Yeah, if I can hop off with this one, Tony, is we got to be service minded. Muhammad Ali said, service is the rent we pay for the space that we occupy on earth.
Mm.
When we become service minded, then if you really think about it, gratitude, service, it pushes away what we want for ourselves.
Mm.
And then we can start serving more people. And I have to just tell this story is Tonya and I, we started serving people at such a high rate that one day in our old home, I walked past our dining room table and there was just mail. It was just mail there. So I picked up the mail and I'm going through the mail. I pulled out 3 checks that were a month or two we had gotten, and they totaled $50,000. I got in the car, I'm driving down the road. Now, mind you, this is after we foreclosed on our home, after our vehicle was repossessed in a Walmart parking lot, after we went through all of that stuff. Here I am riding to the bank. I reached and grabbed the checks and I was like, oh my God, I teared up. I'm like, my God, this has been sitting on the dining room table because we just decided to serve more people. So when we decide to serve more people with the drops and say, hey, we got something that's going to help you get the weight off, get that visceral fat out of your system so that you can live longer. When we become just gear that in, then things will just start happening and we won't even know that it's happening. So I just wanted to share that because it's such a powerful story, I think. So Tony, you want to add to that?
Absolutely. Yeah. And when you talk about, well, for us to talk to people and what would keep them from even wanting to come and to do that, we all know it. And I'm pretty sure everybody had the thought too, we know is fear. Well, let's take it deeper because it is fear, but fear of what? So what are the things that we can ask as we're talking to people, as we're coaching people, as people come on board with us, because we can enroll people and they're here. So we were able to push them past that barrier of thinking I can't, or is this really gonna work? Or is this really for me? Or can I do this? And they said yes, and they're here, but then they don't move. Then they don't show up, then they don't move. Why not? And that continues on with our coaching. You know, and being there for the people and talking to them. So my thing, and I can look at myself, y'all, I'm somebody low self-esteem, lack of confidence, big time. A lot of people would see Tonya Scott and think that absolutely not, but it's true. And there are times that I would still could feel that even on today. So what do we need to do? People really need to come to a place of understanding their value and the fact that they can. If I can have a good conversation with you, I had to learn to stop arguing for my limitations. So oftentimes if you're talking to people and if they're constantly telling you what they can't do, they say different things and this is why. This is arguing for the limitations, which is where the focus is. So I'm going to continue to focus on, you've already heard, you guys already know what you focus on the longest becomes the strongest. So now let's shift the focus. And instead of arguing for my limitations, I began to argue for my value. And that's a big thing for many people. When you come to understand your purpose, when you understand you matter, when you understand you have value, and to know that you absolutely can. One of the things I love about this company, our team, the organization, yours, and I know because I've already been around you, we've been together, we've been in the same places, conversations, talking. There's no competition, okay? No competition. We're in here to collaborate. This partner code, y'all, we're here to collaborate. So we're collaborating and it's working, and I'm grateful for that. I will say this, oftentimes a lot of comparison takes place. Can I be real with you? The enemy knows how to come in. So especially when we're moving, we're working, we're thriving, we want to move, and I'm not going to compete, but what if I begin to compare myself? What if I look at what someone else is doing? What if I look at the fact that they are ranking up? What if I look at the fact that they're making the sales, and then I look at me and I feel like I'm not? That's comparison. Comparison is to thief of joy. So the enemy would have us to do that, which will bring us back to a place of being stifled, where I'm not going to move. Now I'm back to arguing for my limitations. Now I'm behaving in this way. All I have to do is take the necessary actions. One of the things that I would share with the team a lot of times is, how can I put it? It's like, in arguing for your limitation, oftentimes what we're actually doing is trying to see and find what's not working, what's not right. Why can't I do this? And I have had those types of conversations with myself. This is what has to stop. And this is why you would hear Dexter and I talk about, you got to get out your own way. What we do isn't hard. This is what I tell them often. Everybody knows how to pick up a pen, pencil. We can get the paper. We know how to write. We can spell. I can write down people I want to call and talk to. I can go to my online. I can make a post. What we do isn't hard. It's that we do. What's causing me to not do it? That's what has to be identified. And oftentimes it has everything to do with the lack of confidence, how I feel about myself, the comparisons that's going on, thinking that I can't when I really can. Yes, you can. Every single last one of us. God has no respecter of persons. The very thing that he's put inside of you, he's put what's in you that would actually help it to take off. And the last thing I'll say to that too, and then I'll be quiet, is, because we've been talking about this, the word of God is in, I think, Psalm 37:4, if I'm not mistaken. But when he says, if you delight yourself in me, I will give you the desires of your heart. Yeah. A lot of times people would think that the desires of my heart is what I want. The desires of your heart is what he placed there.
Yes.
So when you delight yourself in him, he puts those desires there. So where are we also delighting? So to delight with him, to seek him, asking God for what's next. How do I go about this, that, and the other? Talk to me. Even today we had prayer just saying, God, give us direction. I saw where another team member had prayed and asked about, send me people I don't have to beg for. Send me people I don't have to try to push and make. And that blessed me. And I said, yes, God, because oftentimes we get so caught up in what we're doing, leaving him out. Let's not leave him out. Include God. Talk to him. Ask. Let him know what you want. Delight yourself in him and let those desires come and you take action off of that. I pray that all this was understood. I know I said a lot, but
so good.
That's been me.
Oh man, hey, if you're catching this so far, put your favorite emoji in the chat. Perfect timing for an Easter message, Dr. Tonya, taking us to church right now. I love this because on that note, I find that, when we delight ourselves in him, he gives us these ideas. So many times, I know for me, we get these inspirations. We look at a business, we see other stories, we get inspired, and we're like, man, wouldn't it be nice to make $1 million in 18 months, for example, or whatever that it is. And just as soon as the inspiration comes, so many times I doubt it. And I'm like, that's not for me. That's their story, whatever that it is. But when you look at that verse, I mean, if he's putting the desire in your heart, what if that's what he wants for you? It's up for us to be able to claim that and step into that, So I love to ask Dexter, we're all, what I love about where we are right now in Partner Co, we're all collaborating. We all have all these different backgrounds, and you guys have so much that's going on. You have so many different types of successes, but we are all in the field. We're playing the game, we're moving forward because we know that Partner Co is going to be the next multi-billion-dollar household name out there. But as you're coming in, and I'd love to hear your mindset as you think about your guys' desires in this chapter of your life. You look at Partner Co as a vehicle. You think about, what do we want as a family? What do we want for this business? How are you setting your mindset and your goals? And I want to learn from that, because all of us are different places.
Yeah. So, the way I see it is I'm looking at Partner Co I actually had this conversation today. I told someone, this is the long goal. The Partner Co is the long play. And the reason I say that, y'all, we look at Darren and John.
Mm.
I look at them and I'm like, oh my goodness, look at what's come together.
Yes.
Because if you look at the head, then you get an idea of where it's going. So, and I'm like, okay, now, and this is really, I said, this is not new money. New money behaves differently from old money, if you will.
True.
And I looked at Darren, Darren tells the story of his background. So I'm like, okay, this gentleman did not have to come to Park.
Mm.
He didn't have to do it. Then I look at John, who's had years and years and years of experience in the field, and they came together and they just created this baby and they're just handing it over to us. Yeah. And I'm like, okay, this is home. This is the long play. Okay. So our daughter is graduating from high school in this May, right? 2 months, right? Early then we have our son coming right after her. He'll be a senior. So our goal for them is to just kind of plot out what is it that you can do, given the fact that with things like artificial intelligence is coming rapidly, you need to have a skill set that's tangible for you. So what is it that you will be able to do? And this is what we're leading the way for them. What is it that you'll be able to do that there's a skill set attached to it, and you need that bond? Artificial intelligence can't talk to people like people can talk to people. And that's something that Tonya, we always talk about this is it won't be able to take away our ability to communicate the effectiveness of the skinny drops. It won't take away our ability to communicate the effectiveness of Tahitian noni juice. It just won't happen. So the way I see this thing is, okay, we've earned quite a bit of income with our previous experiences. So I'm like, okay, this next run, we're going to use this income to now pay the things off that we were able to obtain prior.
Let's go.
That's how I'm looking at it. Because this is, PartnerCo is foundational. You do not see in this industry many foundational things. And with PartnerCo, it's just started. That's what's so amazing about it. Everybody up here, we're just starting. So there's longevity here. So what I just say is look down the road. Look down the road. Look at what we can do with this vehicle called PartnerCo. It is amazing. We're talking about PartnerCo. The symbol itself says, hey, we're partnering together. We're partnering with the customers. We're partnering with the field. The company is really partnering with us to have the long view. So I hope that makes sense, but that's how I see it. It's so incredible. We've talked about it. It's like, wow. I mean, who gets this opportunity?
Yeah. It's a lot to get excited after seeing everything that there is that's out there, right? There's a reason. This is what I've learned, guys. It's, when the people, I imagine I'm a short person in a big crowd, and let's say you can't see above the crowd and you see the tall people. If the tall people are running in a direction, it's probably wise to follow them. There's probably a good reason for that, right? And when you see giants like Dexter and Tonya running, and so many others that are collaborating running, I'm like, I just know it's probably the good direction, right? I jump with faith like that, and we can learn so much. What a unique time to have things. Tonya, I love to go back, because as we move forward, like my heart is, I don't want anyone to get left behind. Like, I want everyone to be able to win, because every one of us that's on this call, whether live or replay, have an equal opportunity, no matter what your history is. But I know one of the biggest limiting factors is what our mind allows to believe is possible. I think about your story. You talked about when the director came by and looked at your goal. Bring us back then. And if we are challenged with limiting thinking, because I know I am, for sure. How do you turn that around? How do you expand your mind when you're so used to being a certain way?
Well, that's really good. And it's a process. And honestly, it's really a decision to make. There's always two sides. One of the things Dexter and we talk a lot about is the law of polarity. There's a up, there's a down. If there's an in, there has to be an out. If there's a yes, there has to be a no. So it's there. You just need to make the decision as to which one you're gonna go after. So for me though, and honestly, I'm a transparent kind of girl. So anybody who's ever talked to me, who follows me and so forth, they know that. So for me, as a woman of God, I was so afraid to disappoint him. So that's what kept me from even trying to move forward to earn income. And I made a lot of excuses. So Dexter had started studying first, was learning. We could say so many stories. So he would even go to in the bathroom. We had a powder bath downstairs in the home we had some years, the one that we bankrupt the home. He would go in there, but he would talk. He would actually visualize. And he would visualize himself leaving the stage and coming down and shaking hands and so forth. And he's doing all these things because he's learning how to go into the theater of the mind. These are some things that we teach and talk about. Do you want to share this or we keep going? You want to go?
Yeah. So
and then I'll come back.
Really quickly. I was blessed to study with Les Brown for a year. Wow. So I flew out to Los Angeles, and I didn't sleep the whole weekend. I was just like, wow, I can't. This is so tangible for me. So what I learned how to do is, Tonya mentioned the theater of the mind. I would go into the bathroom completely dark, and I would just I'm standing up and I'm waving at people in the crowd. I'm pointing at people. I'm talking in the bathroom, and I'm visualizing the people. And then when I would leave the stage, there would be people there that wanted to take a picture of me. And I would go in the bathroom. I would do it several times a day. I did it for months. Well, fast forward about 6 months later, I get an opportunity, a job that I was working with, a corporate position. I was standing on stage. I'm talking to people. They're laughing at my jokes and I'm talking. And then I exited stage right after the meeting. And there was a child there, a middle schooler, who he said, "Sir, can I take a picture with you?" So I put my arm around him and his parents. And when this flash came, that's when I said, "Oh my God. I saw this in the bathroom 7 months ago." And I was like, "Oh my God, this is powerful." So that's one of the things that I started learning, and we do that too.
So he's coming home and he wants to talk to me about visualization. He wants to talk to me about, the different, what all kind of attraction marketing, if you will, or just everything. And I was shutting it down. Mess up in here, I was saying, nope, we ain't doing that, and I was running like crazy. But here's the point. The bottom line is I cannot go to the grocery store and purchase the groceries I need with a hug and a smile. I need some money. The word of God tells us that money answers all things. And it does. Money is not to be served, but it is here to serve us. Deuteronomy 8:18, he lets us know that he's given us the abilities to create wealth. We have that ability. He says, don't forget me. Because once this comes, you have to still know it's coming from me. So we continue to serve him. We continue to seek him. We continue to seek him for. I love just studying and reading and hearing more about David, King David. And I can remember in reading and seeing the time, it was like David was sitting up in the mountain, just kind of looking out in the horizons. And somebody was there with him, one of his, right hands, but they looked at him to say, "What are you doing?" And he was like, "Just praying, seeking God, asking," before he even took any action, knowing that it was something to do. He would go to God to say, "God, is this for me? Are we going to be victorious here?" And God would say, "You're fine. I got you. Okay, now I know to go." It's the same. And he's giving him what? Increase. So it's the same for us. And my thing is, come on, that's right. We are righteous. And my thing is, put it in the hands of the people who would do with it what God would have us to do. But oftentimes as a people, we'll push back and give over to the world, allow the wicked to take it and move. And because we see they have it, because we see what they do with it, we will run away from it ourselves. That's what Tonya was doing. So Tonya has changed. Now, when you come to understand that better, you will do better. Because now you will show up differently and know that it's okay. It's okay. And it's not going to serve me. I mean, it will serve me. I'm not going to serve it. It will serve me, but I'm not going to serve it. And let the increase come. And there's nothing that God won't do for us here that's going to outplay what he already has for us when we transition.
My God.
I mean, what we think, I'm not going to have it here because I wait to get there to get where it is. But I had to learn that.
Wow.
I really had to learn that. So, and this is a part of me getting out of my own way in order for me to receive what God has for me. It's a process, but it's worth it.
Everything has its problems. You know, there's the problems of poverty, and then there's problems of prosperity. I'd rather, and I think for so many times when I'm hearing you, I think about my poverty mindset that I'm still working through. I was just talking about this. I'm in like a business church class. So yesterday I was like, man, I had some poverty mindsets. I was so scared of the prosperity problems to allow myself to even experience them or think about them because you're used to the poverty problems. But why not just allow ourselves to try the prosperity problems, you know? And we grow and we allow that. I love what you said. Just allow yourself to grow into that. I think in this next season, it's going to be so key.
It is.
Man.
Because again, think about what you're saying. It's the thoughts, whatever you, according to your faith, be it unto you. Let's think about that. According to each, put your name there, according to my faith, be it unto me. So when we can look at our lives, if we can look at the things that we're experiencing, check your faith. It's impossible to please God without faith.
Amen.
Faith without works is dead. I'll show you my faith by my works. I'll show you that I believe that I'm going to excel in what I'm getting ready to do, that I'm going to win in this business by what I do. I'm going to show you that I'm going to succeed because I'm going to make this post. That's my work. I'm getting ready to talk to you and introduce myself to you. I've got something that can help you. You got knee pain. What's happening? Are you serious? Diabetes? Can I talk to you? You want to lose that weight? What's your hormonal imbalance like? Is it in check? Can I tell you what I have? That's service. That's business. All businesses is a service. How can we service people? How can we service each other? And according to your faith, be it unto you. What are you believing for? That's what you see. What you see, you go after. It's powerful. And that's our abilities. Being created in his image, empowered by him to go about life, excelling and doing as he has equipped us to do. And that's what we have to get. And it's powerful. And that's who we are. And that's what we would talk about. And I've learned it in many ways, but we talk about be, do, have. I'm going to speak to it. But you have to know, a lot of times we say, once I have this, then I'll do so I can become. That's not how it works. You be who that person is. You be that person now. Do what that person does, and you will have, as a result, what it is that you're doing. Be, do, have.
Come on.
Be, do, have. Don't try to have it to then do it so you can be it. You're already a chairperson, 2, 3, whatever. Be it. Act like it. Show up like it. Post like it. Put your profile picture up like it. Share about your families like it. Lifestyle. Do you see what I'm saying? That's what you do. This is what we all have to do. Now let's go back to the original question, or one of the first earlier ones. When we talked about it's so deeply rooted, oftentimes, that I don't have what it takes. Yes, you do. We all do, but some of us need to know that we do. And that's a part of even our partnering up together as a team, where we can hear from each other like this, to know. And just let it keep being heard, let them know, and it will pretty much unwind. I was actually seeing even like a unthreading, if you will, because it's stuff that's just corded up, but then after a while, it just begins to just come apart. And you come to a place of like, I'm good. And that's what we have to do.
There's freedom in the house tonight. I know there are people like me that needed to hear this today. If you felt like this message was for you so far, put a me in the comments below. Because what I'm taking from you guys now, and I so appreciate this, we got 6 months at the time of this call until our big celebration and partner code called PXP, September 20th to 22nd. We got the biggest stage in the world. 6 months are going to count down. You know what I'm taking from this? I need to be like Dexter. I'm going to go turn off my light in my bathroom, and I'm going to visualize my stage speech. I'm going to think about chairperson level 4. I'm going to think about all these different things and like practice this, right? I'm going to take in the promises that everything that Tonya was able to drop today and just live on that. I'm going to become who I need to be, do that every day. And I know the have is going to be a byproduct. And I believe that any single person today, if you might want to watch this on replay like 10 plus times to really get this to soak in. If you do that, I mean, Dexter and Tonya are going to be at the end of the stage, giving you the biggest hug at PXP. And we're like, I remember when, my gosh. But Dexter, Tonya, this time just flew by. But I'd love to leave you guys with any last words that you have for us today.
Okay.
Like I'm just, you see me to my phone because I'm writing the scriptures down. And my brothers and sisters are writing it here right now. Like, glory. So let me scroll back up. Go ahead.
James, let me share this. Y'all, this is a quick hack. I'm telling you, if you do this, this is going to change everything. So one of the corporate jobs I had, I used to travel around the world, and I would introduce international travel programs to parents and students. So they were all the way from 5th grade all the way up to high school. Now, so I was the salesperson on stage. There were 12 of us, and they said, you guys have to be convincing. Now, so you all haven't been to all of the countries, you know, you haven't been to Japan, China, Antarctica, Australia, New Zealand. You haven't been to all of them, but we need you to be believable that you've been there. So I traveled to Australia. I went to New Zealand. I was there. I experienced it. So I was able, when I was on stage, to be able to talk about it. And you could see the kids' eyes just, oh my God, for the experience, so that they could travel the next year. If you guys will do this, it'll change everything. Use YouTube as a YouTube university. I will go to YouTube and I will look up Japan, China. I will look at all the areas that I had not been to. I would immerse myself into the culture of what I was looking at, to the point that I felt like I was already there. When you do that, it changes everything. There's a story of a man, a husband. One day he came home and his wife and the family decided to play a trick on him. They actually took the previous week's lottery numbers and put it on that day's lottery numbers. They wanted to fool him that he earned, that he hit the lottery for $30 million. So they doctored the numbers up. He walks in and they said, guess what? You won the lottery. And he said, no. They said, yes, you did. Gave him the paper. He looked at it and he's, oh my God. He's running around the house. I mean, he's doing all this stuff and all of them are sitting back laughing. So when he came back into the room, he looked at them and said, why are you guys laughing? And they said, we got you. So they started laughing. And for a split second, he felt bad. And then he said, wait a minute. I actually won here. And they said, why do you say that? We told you. He said, I know what it feels like to win $30 million.
Come on, y'all.
I mean, the goosebumps was, I mean, he was just, oh my God. I mean, goose all over. So when we get into the feeling, go in that bathroom, turn the lights out, do what you got to do. to see that stage in 6 months. Get into the feeling. When you get into it, and when it becomes a reality, then now you just wait on God to do the manifestation. So I wanted to leave that with you guys. Quick hack. We do it. We don't do it enough, James. We've actually, life kicks in, you stop doing stuff. But thank you for this call, because it's pushing us to do what we know to do.
It is. Because we'll get caught up so much in doing different things that we don't spend the time here. So this is so good.
Yeah.
I'm grateful. Thank you guys so much for just allowing us to be
Absolutely.
here tonight.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Absolutely grateful. Tonya, Dexter, thank you. Everybody throw them tons of love in the chat. And as we conclude this is what the Partner Co family is about. I mean, this opportunity, just know they're professionals, right? They charge hundreds and thousands for coaching and different types of things. We get this all for being in the community. If it's not just the product, if it's not even to make some money, just to immerse yourself in this will change your life. So if you're not yet partnered with us, be sure to do so. And I know there's different types of walks of faith on this line. If you're a person of faith, take it and be obedient. Like, that's what I'm taking. Maybe you're in your spiritual walk right now and you're like, this is fascinating, right? Truth is old. And my encouragement for you is look into this, study, a search. If you search, then you will find. And especially right now, it's so timely. I hope it was okay with everybody. This is an Easter message today, so maybe you want to go to church this Sunday. That'd be a good opportunity. But with that, it's such an absolute honor. Our heart is in this next phase to just blow up together, because Partner Co is poised to blow up. We have the systems, the opportunities, the products, the people right now. We love to co-partner with you and build something transformational. The world is going to look back and be like, wow. And you're going to be proud about that as well too. All right, everyone. Hey, other than that, have a great one. Get back with your friend right after this. If you have further questions, and we'd love to go through the next steps, feel free to mute yourself. Well, have a great one. Thank you again.
Have a happy